Hello, I am so thankful that you are joining us here on all the platforms. And it's just so wonderful to know that your lives will be impacted by these amazing ladies. We had technical glitches, but we are back in business. And so again, I'm going to get them to introduce themselves, starting at the top with Miss Daphne.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Daphne Hornbuckle. I'm a 29-year survivor, and I'm excited to be here with everyone else. Thank
Lovely.
you.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am Shantaquelette. I'm Shantaquelette Carter Deville. I'm a superhero advocate. I am the founder and president of Pink Peppermint Project, the 501c that provides services to breast cancer patients and their caregivers, and also Thrive Innovations, a personal care company dedicated to products that optimize women's health.
Wonderful. And Miss Jacqueline?
Yes, my name is Jacqueline Stewart. I'm a 3-year survivor. I'm glad to be on the show. I'm on the board with Celebrating Life with Sylvia, Donovan, Hinds for over a year, and I love celebrating life that gives to so many people. And I'm also on the president of Thy Kingdom Come Prayer Ministry that meets at Prayer Mountain every Monday from 7 to 9.
Wonderful. And Miss Quisha.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be with you this evening. My name is Quisha Umbemba. I'm a registered nurse with a background in public health. I'm a certified diabetes care and education specialist, as well as a certified lifestyle coach. I'm the CEO and founder of Umbemba Health LLC and the co-founder of Diversity in Diabetes. Excited to talk to you about self-care and preventive measures today.
Wonderful. These amazing ladies, I've had the chance to read up on them and even look them up, and they're incredible. And the first thing that I must say to you ladies is that you look fabulous, especially Miss Daphne. We'll get into your story, but you just look fabulous. And I got the pictures of you. I was like, this will encourage people. They're watching us from, so I'm going to put them on the screen. They're watching us from Australia. And right here in Dubai. So greetings from Dubai. Hello, ladies. Hello, my Aussie family. And so let me start with you, Miss Daphne, the breast cancer survivor. Yes. And tell them when you were diagnosed, and the question I'd love to ask you is what helped you to overcome. So start your story that way. How long?
So it's been 29 years, wow. And since I was first diagnosed, and I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor.
Wow.
And I mean, it's a tremendous journey. But when I was first diagnosed at 27, I was just devastated and shocked and everything else. And I just thought at that moment that my life is coming to an end and I was going to die. And I knew exactly what I was going to die from. I decided to get 4 different opinions, and they all came back saying that I had breast cancer. So I went from New York all the way to DC to get these opinions, and they all said the same thing. Yes, I had breast cancer. But it was at that point that something turned in me that I said, you know what, I'm not going to give in. I'm going to fight this. I'm going to give it my all, and I'm not going to let anything stop me at this point. So I started with a whole lot of research every day. And then I went back to my doctors and I said, okay, now that I'm armed with a little bit of knowledge, let's sit down and talk. And that's.
And so you've created a whole organization from this. Tell them about that.
Well, I worked with Sylvia Donovan's organization, Celebrating Life Foundation, which is located here in Dallas, Texas. I am a former board member, and I was her facilitator for the support group, which was called the Victorious Ones. Right. And so it was during that time that after like 12 years, I started with the support group and leading other women during their diagnosis and during their journey. Wow. That I was diagnosed yet again. So in 2003, I was diagnosed the second time. And so it was truly a journey because here I am leading these women and going through this journey myself. So it was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge.
Oh my goodness. And so I'm going on to, I hope I get it right. Shantaquelette.
Yes, Shantaquelette.
Lovely. Shanta, I know that you are not a breast cancer survivor. So tell them what you help to do, how you help us.
So yes, I am the founder and president of the Pink Peppermint Project. We provide education, resources, and empower breast cancer patients and their caregivers. In 2015, I lost my aunt and two friends, and I was able to see the debilitating side effects and the emotional effects that it had on my friends. And so it propelled me to create an organization that motivated, inspired, nurtured, and transformed women. And so we do that through programs, wellness programs, and we also send what we call Met with Love boxes to show women that we love them and we care for them and make sure that they have the necessary items when going through chemotherapy.
And one of the things that I love is that with all of you, whether you've lost somebody or you know somebody, is how much you help to impact other people's lives. And I'm sure doing the Pink Peppermint Project that you've seen so many lives transform because they don't feel alone. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, that is the most important part for us, is to build community and sisterhood. I learned with my friends, they needed someone to be there for them, not only for emotional support, but just to listen. And so you need someone to help you get over those muddy waters of survivorship because it's hard, and not only during the journey, but after the journey. So we want to be there with you through the entire process and let you know that we're always someone that you can turn to if you just need an ear.
Wonderful. And Quisha, I know that I got to know you from a conference that I did and got to know you as I called you the expert. You will say that you are not. But one of the things that you are very involved in, you have your own practice and you help with the self-care of women. So tell them a little bit about yourself and how you help us women.
Well, let me correct you, Dr. Marina. Before the Mega Women's Conference, I didn't consider myself to be an expert, but after the conference, I am certainly an expert.
Wonderful, wonderful.
No, I tapped into my hidden
wonderful
economy, as you so well talked about. One of the ways that I help women, like I said in the introduction, I'm a diabetes educator, so my specialty is chronic disease. And cancer of all kinds are chronic diseases. And so one of the ways that we can combat cancer is to screen early, right? So certain cancers and certain type of breast cancers actually can be treated fairly easily if they're screened and caught early. And so I like to always say, for women of color, we die at a higher rate of breast cancer, although white women actually have higher rates of breast cancer. And that can be a number of things, right? I don't want to get into racial and ethnic health disparities and kind of biases of healthcare providers. But I will just speak to health-seeking behaviors. And I know as women, in general, certainly with Black women, we tend to put everyone else before us. And so we don't have the best habits when it comes to self-care because we tend to think that's selfish and we have so many other things on our plate. And so we're not always going to the doctor. We're not always doing our monthly breast exams and getting our screens and so forth. So one of the ways that I help is just to make sure people are aware of the screening guidelines and just, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yes. Yes, I'm now 56, and I started screening at 40. When they tell you that's when you're supposed to start, and so I started that, and I know the importance of it. And last year I discovered, just because it researched for my organization is called Mega Women. I call it a movement more than an organization, and so just to help educate myself and to help educate them. And one of the practices here in Dallas is called the Solis screening place. And they do vouchers for women who don't have insurance. So if somebody, that's another way to, put that on your list to do. And they will give you a voucher. And now they do breast screening in 3D. So it's a little more technical and to get that accurate. I'm going to bring in, that's what I wanted to do. I'm going to bring in Sylvia. Hello, Sylvia.
Hi. Let me add a little
Hello.
mic to me. Yeah.
So we're talking about self-care, and I'm glad you came back. And I know that because of losing an aunt, you took up this fight and help women with self-care. So tell them who you are and what you do to help with self-care.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. McLean. My name is Sylvia Donovan Hinds. I'm the founder and executive director of the Celebrating Life Foundation. I've been involved with breast cancer for over 25 years. After I lost my aunt with breast cancer, I wrote a book called Celebrating Life, African American Women Speak Out about breast cancer. And I went to 16 states, interviewed ladies from survivorship for a few months to 45 years. And the one thing that I found out, no matter what stage they were in, what their prognosis was, all of them were celebrating life. And that's been the essence of the organization, is to help and encourage women to celebrate life and to talk about things like you just mentioned. The 3D mammogram has been a major asset to my personal life. Because I always have to have a mammogram, I had to have an ultrasound, I had to just hold my breath while I got all these different reports. I got a 3D mammogram and it was just keep on walking. So that made my life easier. So just having that kind of information and to be able to help women when there's so many things that talk about research, but until a woman is able to deal with her regular life. I mean, the research is wonderful because that means my granddaughter may not get breast cancer, but when you have a woman that is a single mom and is going through treatment and cannot work and is looking at keeping her lights on and trying to stay motivated to go through chemotherapy, there's another gap. And that's the gap that we have been trying to fill and to help with other resources, with other organizations, because that's where that's the real life that people have to deal with. So that is a single mom treatment and cannot work and is looking at keeping her lights on and trying to stay motivated to go through chemotherapy, there's another gap. And that's the gap that we have been trying to fill and to help with other resources, with other organizations, because that's where that's the real life that people have to deal with. So that is a single mom.
So we've got a delay. But one of the things that I want to keep asking you ladies is what's the best advice you were given? I'm going to start with you, Daphne, when you were going through your diagnosis. What's the best advice that you were given?
I have a couple of things. Never give up. You know, even when they tell you, you know, this year stage 2, 3, 4, whatever, never give up. And because I truly believe that God has the final say. And so if you keep walking with God and knowing that he has the final say, you know, there's no doctor that can tell you different. God has the final say. So never give up. It would be the advice that I would give.
Can I call you Shantaquelette? I'm going to get it right. You've helped so many women in your Pink Peppermint. What advice have you personally given to somebody?
Well, I would piggyback off of Daphne, and I told my friends never to give up. My aunt, I was with her through her final hours, you know, an hour before she departed. And from up to that time, I told her to not give up. I told her how much I loved her, and I kept her encouraged. That's the biggest thing. I never at any time told my friends to be strong, because I felt like if I did that, then they would have this facade pulled up where they felt like they had to be strong in front of me. So I always wanted them to be transparent, and I just wanted to be a listening ear, because sometimes I didn't always have the thing to say. So sometimes just listening and just being there for emotional support is what you need to do. Yeah.
And Quisha.
So I would have to say, be your biggest advocate. No one knows your body like you do. A lot of times we feel bad or we feel a certain way and we go to the doctor, and sometimes it's kind of brushed off. You know, if you're feeling a lump, feel a certain kind of way, and one doctor or healthcare provider is not being receptive, then go and get a second opinion. I mean, that also ties to that never give up, right? Again, we know there's a better chance of survival if you can catch breast cancer early. I always tell this story about a patient that I had a few months ago that was admitted with COVID pneumonia. And I know that we're talking about breast cancer, but I love this story. She was in ICU for about 4 or 5 days at one hospital. She knew she was not ready to leave. They discharged her, and she had signed her discharge papers and basically went across the street to another hospital and got admitted and went to ICU for another week's stay. And I was, when I found out, I was so proud of her for not taking no for an answer, for knowing I'm not okay, I'm not ready to go home. Something is going on with me and my body. And so I would encourage all of our female and male listeners, because men can get breast cancer as well. Be your biggest advocate, to stick to your guns. You know your body better than anybody. So don't let a provider tell you something's not wrong and you know there is.
You know, we know the power of prayer. And as every one of you right here can testify to that. And one of the things that when my mom was going through this, I remember watching a program of a lady saying that she would always put on lipstick and dress up when she was going for her chemo. And I told my mom to do the same thing. My mom's not a lipstick wearer. She's those modern, old school mamas. And so, but she put on her lipstick and she dressed up. And my sister said, she would always walk in upright and bold, you know, and I think it's that mentality, that fighting spirit. And I'd have to agree, Daphne, you represent that so well. Never give up, you know. And we walk through people who are already fearful. You mentioned cancer, and it's an automatic fear. You know, you feel like it's the termination of life. But it's the attitude that you present, that fighting spirit. I asked you about the best. How important, just talk about faith, how important was your faith in this process, Daphne?
You know, when I was first diagnosed, again, being 27, you know, I thought I knew God. But when I was going through it, and I'm just going to be honest, I felt so alone. And basically, when I was on that journey, I was like in the oncology section of Barnes and Nobles every single day on my lunch hour, because I just thought, you know, it was up to me to get through this. I thought I was by myself. But I realized now that I had a lot of people who were praying for me and all of that and everything. The second time I was diagnosed, I was stronger in the Lord. I was stronger in my walk with the Lord. And that was in 2003. And in 2003, at that time, it was more of, okay, God, you know, whatever I didn't learn the first time, let me learn it now, and I'm going to learn it with you. And so we took that journey together, and I was so grateful for that, because at that point in time, even though I'm going through it a second time, he lined up people in my life, from doctors to Sylvia to everybody, to, you know, everybody just kind of lined up for me. I mean, it lined up so well that when I was at work, I was working and I had to be off for six weeks because of surgery. I have been new to the job, and this woman at the job, she said, you know what, we're going to arrange where we have someone to drop off food to you every other day. Wonderful. That's God. Wonderful. And so my journey with this walk second time around was just so much stronger because of him. And where I am today, my strength is so much stronger. I'm such a stronger person because of all of the journeys that I've gone through.
Jackie, welcome back. Jackie, I'm going to ask you this question. I know that faith plays an important part, especially when you are supporting others, and you yourself was walked through this. How was your faith a big support for you? We can't hear you. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had great support. And I was going through just fine. And my faith was up because I trust God. But I had a week before I had surgery, and I want to tell this for others to hear. A week before, I had to go in and get markers done, and I had seen the image of the cancer when it went at the first. But this time, a week before, when I went in and I saw the picture, I lost it. I lost it. I lost it because what I saw, it was bigger. And I thought, oh my God, all these people have been praying. I've been praying, trusting, praying and believing. And look at it. It's so big. And what happened was, if I can tell the story.
Yeah.
I went home, and by the time I got home, my cousin from Bryan, Texas, Bishop Green, called me because my cousin had called him to let him know that I was losing it. And he just said, Jack, this is all he said. We walk by faith and not by sight.
Come on.
I don't know how to explain it to you. It's what I saw, the image that changed my heart.
Yes.
And I felt so discouraged because I lost it. I felt like Peter. Peter walking on the water, all of a sudden he started drowning because of his faith. But make the long story short, I had surgery the week later. And then I went in for an exam, and the doctor came in with this big smile. And she said, Jackie, what you saw was scar tissue.
Oh.
She said, let me tell you that it dried up. And this is what all the saints were telling me. It's going to dry up just like that fig tree. And she got her pen on a piece of it and just hit it with a dot. She said that's all it was. And they got everything. And God does hear prayer. He does answer prayer. And I started feeling numb and discouraged because I said, I lost it. And I said, I'm not going to let the enemy have victory over my lapse of faith.
Not at all.
Because God has forgiven me. And I grabbed hold and just hugged everybody and said, well, God still did. In spite of my loss right then.
And I know because of what you've gone through, you now have set up a prayer team that helps to keep, and that's so important because we need the power of the praying saints. I mean, Daphne testified to that too. I know Shantaquelette, that you must have stories upon stories, but what is one of the key things that you've noticed where prayer support is a key?
Through the entire process, my grandmother says a praying friend is the best friend that you can have.
Amen.
And I remember even personally in my own darkest hour, that if it weren't for people praying for me, I don't know how far I would have come, because sometimes I wasn't praying for myself.
Right.
And so that's, really important. So when I prayed for my aunt, it may have allowed her a few more hours on this earth, a few more days on this earth. But the impact is tremendous. I mean, when you go through something, you need people praying for you. You need people covering you at all hours, so you can get those supernatural miracles that come, just out of nowhere. So there have been, friends I've lost, so many, but my friend who just passed away just a month ago, I remember talking on the phone with her, and they had given her 3 months to live, but we didn't count that out. We prayed, and we're going to pray through this until God says something different. So
amen.
It's really important.
And I've got Sylvia back in. I called her back in, and I said, Sylvia, one of the things that in talking with you, why this 5K is special this year, this is your 19th year, is because you are supporting the local ladies who are walking through this difficult process. Share the testimony of the video when people click on, this is a plug, when you click on to sign up under the Mega Women group, you will get to see this video of why we are donating. So go ahead, Sylvia, I've set it up.
One of the ladies that we're helping is a single mom, and she had just had a double mastectomy, and was wondering what she was going to do about groceries. We helped her with groceries. And now in the last 6 months, she's had 4 surgeries. She currently still has an open wound, and therefore she can't go back to work until that heals. So we're trying to help her with some essential items that she needs, groceries, and helping her with some bills to help her along her journey as she tries to allow her body to heal. And we have some other survivors, one that was diagnosed with COVID-19 as she was finishing up her treatment. So there are a lot of different things that people need, and we're trying to stand in the gap. That's why, Dr. McClain, your support is so essential to help the ladies along their journey, because when you're trying to focus on your healing, it takes all of your energy.
Yes.
So if we can help lighten that load, that's what we're trying to stand in the gap. And I'm so grateful for the other young ladies that have shared. I ditto everything that they've said. But the survivors, they know that journey, and that's the journey that we're trying to make lighter. Yeah.
And Quisha, for everyone that gets a diagnosis, right? Jackie shared that. Daphne has shared that. Anyone that gets a diagnosis, the biggest thing to overcome sometimes is their own fear. But as a healthcare provider, what would you say to speak into them, to give them, to help build that confidence of that first diagnosis?
That's a good question. The first thing I would say is, and I think everybody has kind of touched on it, the importance of support. You know, a lot of times, I'm probably speaking to myself, but many women don't like asking for help, right? We carry so much on our load. If you're like me, you had a mother that said, if you want it done right, do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
And so we have this tendency to just kind of carry the burden and shoulder the burden of everything. And I would say the first thing is, we weren't designed to do life alone. No. That's not how God made us.
No.
And so your community, that support is going to be so important, just as important as your faith, as you were speaking about earlier. So don't hold it in. Don't keep it to yourself. Go and tell somebody. Find that friend that you can go to that's a shoulder that you can cry on. So I always ask my patients, who is that person you can call if you're having a bad day?
Yeah.
Who is that person you can call to cry on?
Very good.
Whoever's in your corner, they're going to be with you, and they're going to need to be with you for a very long time. So first and foremost, don't hold it in. Get your a good support system together, and people that are going to be in there for the long run. Like Shantaqueltte said, you know, you need people praying for you. You need people going to be coming over, cooking when you're tired on those days.
Yeah.
My sister doesn't have breast cancer, but she does have cancer, and she takes chemo every other week. You know, it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
Sylvia just said, when you're focusing on healing yourself, that takes a lot of energy. And just to speak to self-care while I'm on the topic of this, we got to learn how to say no, right? It's really, really hard for us to say no. A couple of years ago, I started being like, Oprah, you get a no, you get a no, you get a no. And so if you don't take anything else from talking about self-care, that's step number one. The house doesn't have to be clean. Just clean the parts that people don't see. Bathroom. That's it. You know, let some things go. Drop the ball.
Yeah.
And learn how to say no, but definitely get you a good support system in place, and people that are going to be in your corner for the long haul.
You know, one of the things that I really advocate is community. Build your community. It starts with your friends. It starts with your family. I have when my children were little, they're grown adults now, but I had a church community and I had a school community. And so you have to keep building your community out of necessity. And even though now at this stage of my life, I've learned the power of delegation and I absolutely love it. And so I would just encourage you all, please listen to this over and over and put in your comments those that you want prayer for who are going through breast cancer or going through prostate cancer. We've got men that's going through prostate cancer. We do have men that have had breast cancer. And so whatever form of cancer and support, please put it in the comments below. We would love to keep coming back and praying over you. Click and share this. These are amazing ladies. I'm going to tag them and put in their websites and how to find them, because they're incredible. And this is just a small core of what is out there. But these are my friends of friends. They're not my friends, but these are friends of friends. And there's so many that we know that are walking through this process or helping somebody. Be part of somebody's community. It's time. If anything that COVID has done, it's insulated us to make us see the greater that can come out of technology and sharing our platform. I would never have done this if COVID hadn't happened. And so I'm grateful that this is a forced time. I've got somebody saying, wow, yeah, you need to share be part of somebody's community. And so let's keep this going. Miss Jackie, the prayer warrior, I'm going to ask you to close out in prayer, please. Before you do, one more time, start at the top with tell them, Daphne, tell them your name and how they can find you, and then we'll move down like that. Go ahead, Daphne, you start.
Okay. Daphne Hornbuckle. I can be reached at djhornbuckle73@gmail.com.
Shantaquelette Carter Williams, www.sqdevelle, that's SQDEVELLE.com.
Lovely. Miss Quisha?
Quisha Umbemba. I'm on all social media sites at Umbemba Health. That's UMEMBA. If you'd like to send me an email, you can do so at Quisha, QUISHA, @umbembahealth.com. I
lost Jackie. Go on, Sylvia.
Sylvia Donovan Hinds, and I can be reached at www.celebratinglife.org. And also I'm on Facebook, Sylvia Donovan Hinds. And also you can reach the foundation on Facebook, and you can reach Jackie through me.
And she's coming back, so I'm just going to keep talking till she comes back. Lovely. Go, Miss Jackie. Tell them how to reach you, and then pray.
StewartJ11@yahoo.com.
And go ahead, close us
Heavenly
out in prayer.
Father, right now Heavenly Father, we just thank you for our gathering on tonight. We thank you that you brought us together for others. Father, reach out and touch and heal. Let something be said tonight will encourage those to have faith and stand on your word as you promise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And one more time, we're doing a virtual 5K. We have partnered up with celebratinglife.org. We have all these different ladies here. They can set up their own page, but my page is Mega Women, and all the details are there. So we're doing a virtual walk between now and the 31st. I'm doing mine this Saturday because I am home, and I can help you all, guide you all to do that. So thank you so much. God bless you, and let's just enjoy sharing life with each other.
Thank you.